We just recommend arriving as soon as possible
So I could see, okay. And then I saw the latest one where you were showing the plus and minuses of
because I had bad credit and I also had a large amount of speeding tickets.
Welcome to Behind the Bricks. I am your host, Rachel L. Gary. And today I have the pleasure of welcoming to the show a former deputy clerk with the Recorder of Deeds Clerk's Office, an investor, educator, community advocate, managing partner for the law offices of Mario A. Reed LLC, where he helps individuals with real estate, estate planning, probate, business creation. And without further ado, I want to bring to Behind the Bricks Mario A. Reed Esquire. Thank you, Mario, for joining us. Did I miss anything on the introduction?
No, everything was fantastic.
The first question, with all of those many endeavors that you have, along with being a parent and a spouse, what compels you to start the knowledge movement? And can you expound on what the knowledge movement is all about?
Absolutely. And again, thank you for having me on Behind the Bricks, as I appreciate it. And I'm very excited to have this opportunity to share with your audience. So the knowledge movement is an initiative that I recently embarked upon. It started back in December of 2023. And the purpose of it is exactly what it sounds like. It's to share and spread knowledge amongst the community, specifically about things in which most of us have never been exposed to as it relates to real estate, finances, estate planning, and things that oftentimes are reserved for the affluent. One of the reasons why I started is because I grew up in the church, and I used to always say that I wish someone would take just one Sunday a month and teach us about things that actually are applicable to this world. So as opposed to always focusing on what's going to happen when you pass away or things that happened long ago in history as it relates to the Bible, why can't we learn about things that will help us today and help us improve our financial situation right now today? So I was having that conversation with someone and she said to me, why don't you do that? So that's what led to the knowledge movement. And it's one Sunday a month where we get together at the South Holland Community Center. It's free and open to the public.
That is great to hear that we have that kind of information out there that's being passed on. Because as I said, for me, what I was sharing before we got on air is that I chose a real estate vehicle to start building generational wealth. And I bought several properties. And I started my journey 3 years ago, where I said that I'm not getting any younger. And at the end of the day, what was I going to leave my children that I worked so hard for when they were little? But as they become adults, we forget that they might not need our guidance as often, but they look to us for things on an everyday basis that, and when we're no longer here, they won't have. So I said, how do I, because I can't pass on a job. So at the end of the day, I can't pass on a job. I have to be able to pass on some type of asset, some type of business, some form of something where, as in upon me no longer being here, that void of finance that I offer to my family is still there. So I really appreciate seeing those posts and hearing about the movement. And so people who didn't rewind, make sure that you see that about Sunday. Second thing, Mario, now with that, you have the knowledge movement going on. And then right now, over a year, I have been seeing about the property tax apocalypse. So I had been seeing it for a year. I'm gonna say more than a year. I have been hearing about the taxes incrementally going up in the south suburbs. With everything else you have going on, how did you get involved with this? And do you and what does a homeowner do when they are looking to correct their assessments?
Well, I've been involved with the property tax initiative, and it's known as the flat property tax initiative. And formally, it's been approximately 5 years. However, even before that, going back to 2006, when I was an intern with the Metropolitan Planning Council, which is a think tank here in the Chicagoland area, I had the opportunity to learn about the discrepancy and the disparity in the property tax rates between certain communities throughout Cook County. So the city of Chicago and the northern suburbs, they have the lowest property tax rates in all of Cook County. It varies anywhere from 7 to 10% in those communities. However, in the southern suburbs, they have the highest property tax rates in all of the United States of America. And their rates vary anywhere from 15% to as high as 47% in my native land of Park Forest. So I've always been aware of it. However, again, 5.5 years ago, Trustee Cassandra Matz and myself were discussing it while she was running for mayor of Olympia Fields, and we said we're going to do something about it. So we made the commitment where every first and third Wednesday of the month, we have a Zoom call, which is available for anyone to attend at 7 p.m., where we talk about the impending property tax apocalypse. And in terms of those homeowners, if their assessments are inaccurate, every year there are 2 opportunities to appeal or challenge that assessment through the Cook County Assessor's Office and the Cook County Board of Review's office. And we recommend and encourage every single property owner throughout Cook County to always avail themselves of that assessment challenge process, because the Cook County Assessor has admitted numerous times, with there being 2.3 million parcels of property, that he's not going to get it accurate every time. And because of that, you as the property owner have to take advantage of the mechanisms and processes that are in place to be able to help the assessor do his job to the best of his ability. So challenging and appealing those assessments every single year, not just in the third year when we get reassessed, but every single year is imperative. And that can be done online for free through the CookCountyAssessor.com website and the Cook County Board of Review.com websites. Those websites are funded by our tax dollars, so it's imperative that you take advantage of the services available. And what you're doing is you're simply telling the assessor and the Board of Review that the assessor got the number wrong and that you'd like for that number to be reduced. When that number gets reduced, your individual property tax liability gets reduced as well. However, it only lasts up until there's another reassessment. And that's why it's so important to do it every single year, nonstop, even after you became a senior, because you want to keep that number as low as possible.
Let's say that a property owner goes on the site and they still feel that the assessment that comes back is inaccurate. Do they get legal advice, or should they see an attorney at that point? Because at first it seems like all of that is self-help in the beginning. So when should they get an attorney involved with that process?
Get an attorney involved in the process as soon as they like. So if they don't want to do the work themselves, even on that first pass, they're welcome to get an attorney involved. However, the one thing that I say as an attorney who does property tax appeals is it's better for you to know what the process is and for you to have an understanding. So at least attempting it one time is valuable, because again, I, as an attorney, I don't have the same incentive to try and get that number as low as possible as you do as the property owner. And because you're the one who's ultimately going to be responsible for whatever happens as a result of that appeal, it's very beneficial for you to understand what the process looks like and for you to know what the timetable looks like, so that way you're not going into something thinking it's going to turn out like this. You pay somebody, it doesn't turn out like that, and you're asking, why did it? Go ahead and attempt it yourself. It's free, so there's no harm in at least learning and experiencing the process. But someone can get an attorney involved at the very onset. Now, what I will say is that when you get that attorney involved, a lot of attorneys are going to take 50% of the savings. So let's say that you saved $2,000 by working with that attorney. Well, now $1,000 goes to the attorney, so you didn't really experience the savings that you were even looking for. So that's one of the other drawbacks of using counsel when it's something that you can do yourself. It's just a matter of you got to be invested for a period of an hour or 2 hours during that time period. But you're talking about essentially 4 hours out of the entire year. And that's usually worth it if you save $1,000, $2,000.
Love that. So taking an opportunity of the self-help first, I definitely learned in the process. Everything is a process. And a lot of times we advocate our selves when we just say we just don't understand. When a lot of times understanding comes from you looking at it. It goes to any book. How did we learn to read? We started with Run, Jane, Run. My third question is more about you, Mario. With all the advocating for the public, providing information, financial education, and being a very family-oriented person, how do you unwind and focus on your self-care and filling up Mario?
One of the things that my uncle said to me when I was a small little boy is that if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that mantra and that ideology has stuck with me. So a lot of times when people say, how do you unwind and how do you kind of fill up? Well, helping people actually does fill me up. So whenever it is that I'm doing all of these things, it's not taking away from my cup, it's actually filling my cup. And that's a part of the reason why it is that I'm able to do so much of it, because anytime that I can help someone, I'm fulfilling my purpose. And anytime that I'm fulfilling my purpose, I'm feeling good. I'm actually being filled up. So it isn't a matter of me unwinding anymore. So the first few years of my career, I worked at Best Buy as a sales manager. I worked at US Cellular as a retail wireless consultant. I worked in other various sales positions, and I needed to unwind from those because I wasn't necessarily fulfilling my purpose to the extent that I am now. But now, every single day of the week, I'm participating in some type of exchange of knowledge and sharing of knowledge. And every single time that I am, it's filling me up. So getting up at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning, coming on Behind the Bricks, it's not work. And it's not something that I need to unwind from. It is actually making me feel better about what I've done. And when it's my time to go, what I accomplished in this life. So that's really the first part of it, is that it's not a case where I need very much time to unwind, because all the time I'm really filling my cup. Now, what I do aside from sharing knowledge and helping people in the advocacy role is I spend time with family. So I spend a ton of time with my siblings, as well as my daughter, as well as my significant other. I also spend a lot of time with friends, cousins. So I'm really big on family, as to me, that's the most important part of this. And it doesn't matter what success I have, whether it be financially, professionally, intellectually. It's all really just to help me have a better family experience. So any chance that I get, we're hosting get-togethers at the house and having family over. And we do a variety of things. We're very competitive, play a lot of sports. We also participate in party games. And just really spending time talking about a variety of things. We talk about a lot of things. We talk about economic issues in the world. We talk about business initiatives. We talk about the tax code. We talk about estate planning strategies. So it's all about family building and really just taking time to appreciate what it is that we've accomplished in life.
Family first. I love it. I love it because it's very similar. I'll tell you a little bit about my story. I normally don't when I'm talking about Behind the Bricks, but it's very similar to what's something I've done recently. I pivoted in my career because I was at a point where I was ready to give back to the community, give back to people in a way that made me feel more fulfilled. When I was, I've been in leadership for probably 25 years in some form of fashion of operational leadership. But when I felt the best is when I was in my office and someone had a problem in their lives and they really were looking for assistance. And listening to what they had going on, and when I could provide some type of structured plan to help them be successful, and they actually were successful with that plan, I was the most excited of my day when they came back to me with what you told me I used, it worked. Or, hey, this worked, but this didn't work. But if I hadn't talked to you, I wouldn't even started. And those stories started becoming more frequent because I started becoming more of a leader at work and less of a manager. So it was more times when people came to talk to me, they were coming to talk to me. I spent more time in my office talking about people's personal lives and their future than the work itself. And it wouldn't be that they were coming to my office to evade work. They would come talk to me because they felt that I was really listening and I was really giving sound advice from my life lessons that I have been through. I mean, we all have our life lessons, but for me to have the ability to formulate that into a way that was helping other people. So it's something I decided to do full time 8 months ago. That I actually decided to start a coaching course, help people build their mindset so they can start reaching their goals. Because that's what it took for me to move out of my own way to start building up real estate, start investing more than just energy, start investing time. And I tell you, I have in 8 months, I have been less stressed. and I have to be honest, I mean, I've been meditating for years, but my meditations, I don't have to, when I'm in my meditation, it's not like a moment of, I need the calm. I'm already at a calm. And so I definitely can agree with you. When you're living in your purpose, you feel different. Life is different. And when you're doing things from that full cup, like I say, I'm always, my cup is always on overfull sometimes. So it's easy for me to have a conversation with somebody. It's easy for me to say, I want to reach out and help other people. Which is why I reached out to you in the first place, because I'm thinking of helping people in August for Black Friday, as well as for New Year's Eve, on the days when we as a community spend the most money in the economy, as opposed to building up our mental economy. And I picked those days strategically because I said at the end of the day, how do we get better? If I'm in Walmart buying the next TV on Black Friday, and then I'm watching that TV Monday through Friday, then when am I mentally getting myself prepared for a life that doesn't stop with just a job? Because as we get older, we really start noticing that, I mean, our health declines, and we're at points of where we need assistance. And then you're trying to look for where you're going to get that assistance from, when a lot of times that we start in our younger years, we have an opportunity to grow, which goes a little bit about things that I have seen about the different stocks, the different types of case studies that you put out there. I'm a person who I'm rarely on social media. However, every other day I personally go to Mario's page. I can say a total in a week, I might be on social media an hour a week, maybe. And that's really stretching it. But I personally actually go to Mario's page to see what new case study he has out there, so I can see, okay. And then I saw the latest one where you were showing the plus and minuses of insurances and things of that nature. And that education goes a long way. So I want to make sure that during this time, I give the praises of, I appreciate the information. The information is definitely helping people who are already somewhat financially literate to understand a little more literacy about certain types of financial instruments and how to actually utilize those instruments in the best possible way. My final question: what are your goals for the next year, next 3, and next 5?
Goals for every day and every year of my life is just to improve the community around me. I'm not the type of person who sets specific targeted planned goals for 1 year, 3 years, 5 years. In acquiring my law license, I went through a very traumatic experience where it took much longer than it should have, because the Illinois Bar Association has a portion of it which is called the Character and Fitness Committee. And because I had bad credit and I also had a large amount of speeding tickets, instead of me being able to be sworn in as soon as I passed the bar, like all of my fellow colleagues, I had to wait approximately 18 months in order to get sworn into the Bar Association. And that experience was a life lesson that really taught me that instead of focusing on what comes next, make it a priority to take care of what is today and let today be the focus. So as far as a 1 year, 3 year, 5 year plan, I don't ever have any of those. And it's in large part because I want to make today the best day that I possibly can. I want to make tomorrow the best day that I possibly can. And the other part is that if you get married to these ideas of 1 year from now, I got to have this, 3 years from now, I got to do this, and 5 years, I got to do this, it oftentimes makes it tough to take advantage of the opportunities that come on a daily basis. Because if it doesn't align with what that 1 year, 3 year, or 5 year goal is, you might turn down that opportunity because you'll say, well, that doesn't coincide or fit with the 1 year plan or the 3 year plan. 5 years ago, I never would have thought I would have started my own private practice. I was very comfortable and content as a government employee with the Cook County Clerk's Office at the time. I was doing community outreach. I was helping people in a way that I was excited about and I enjoyed every single day. And then the Inspector General's office came and said, hey, you can't do your own outreaches if you do outreaches through the Cook County Clerk's Office. So you got to decide where you want to be. Now, if I was married to a 5 year plan where I'm going to become the Cook County Clerk or something along those lines, I might have now sacrificed doing my own independent community outreaches, because in order for it to coincide with my 5 year plan of becoming the Cook County Clerk, I needed to make that decision. But by not being married to any idea, it made it so much easier for me to say, okay, no problem. You guys go away and I'll go ahead and do my own thing. And it was the best decision I ever could have made professionally. And it really epitomizes and personifies the value of just trying to be the best you in that moment, and understanding that whatever that looks like, you keep on responding. If you have to pivot, you pivot. If you want to start a knowledge movement, you start a knowledge movement. Everything is based on what's going on today and how can I be better in my community and for myself on today. So no 1 year, no 3 year, no 5 year plans. My today plan is to be the best father that I can to Ariel while supporting her in her volleyball endeavors. And tomorrow be the best attorney for the clients that I'll be before judges and probate. And then the days after, estate planning. Just continue to find ways to improve the lives of the people that I'm around on a daily basis, including myself.
Absolutely. Love that assessment, Mario. Now, I would say this. I can appreciate the ability of having being nimble. I can appreciate the ability, because even though I have a 1 year, 5 year, 1 year and 3 year plan, I always assess it on. It's funny. I assess it every Sunday. Every Sunday I assess that plan and I make pivots. So I do agree with not being married to a plan, but I also am a person who plans according a plan for the future. So I prepare for the future, and each day I say, just like how you said it, I'm always trying to be the better me today than I was yesterday. Learn from yesterday and take that into tomorrow's journey. That's how I see that. So now, please let everyone know how they can get in touch with you. The information will be in the show notes, but I want them to hear from you. How can you get in touch with Mario? And what services do you actually provide that can help individuals who are watching Behind the Bricks?
So our firm is available. You can find us right on Google. If you go to Google and type in Law Offices of Mario A. Reed, it'll bring up all of our information, our website, our address, our phone numbers, and our email address. But you can also always email us. The email is Mario, MARIO, Reed, REED, @outlook.com. And our firm provides a host of services, but we really concentrate in 4 areas. So we offer estate planning, which is getting those affairs in order, making sure that you've got your last will and testament, your durable power of attorney, your revocable living trust, your certification of trust, your deed in trust in place. We also offer assistance with probate. So when people have passed away and didn't have their affairs in order, and the family's looking to get the house out of the name of the decedent into the name of themselves, or putting it into the name of a trust, we assist with that process. We also offer assistance with real estate. We represent a ton of sellers and buyers in purchasing property, but we also assist with a lot of the kind of the behind the scenes aspects of real estate, switching deeds over, as well as getting liens cleared, doing research as it relates to mortgages and assignments and things of that nature. And then finally, we assist with business creation and business agreements. So when someone's ready to embark upon entrepreneurship, our office will create the LLC for them. We will serve as the registered agent for them. We will create a revocable living trust to serve as the managing member for them, so that way if they pass, their business already has a succession plan in place from the onset of the process. And you're getting the protection and the anonymity, which is usually desired as a part of that LLC process. So those are the services that we offer, and you can get in touch with us. You can also follow on Facebook, Mario A. Reed. I do a lot of sharing and information downloads via that platform, as I want to make sure that people understand social media doesn't have to just be about food pictures and travel vacation pictures, but you can use it to actually benefit others through information and knowledge sharing. And then finally, in the event that anyone's interested, they can join us for the knowledge movement. So one Sunday a month, this upcoming Sunday, June 16th, 2024, will be at the South Highland Community Center. It's free and open to the public. There's no registration required. We just recommend arriving as soon as possible because there's usually only about 80 seats and they fill up fast. And those are the ways you can get in touch.
Okay. So I want to thank you, Mario, for joining us today on Behind the Bricks and providing some great information, some great tips that will allow us to be successful and be on our journey towards building, growing, and understanding finances as far as real estate, as far as probate, as far as estate planning, which is definitely needed for you to have a succession plan for your loved ones upon the inevitable. We're not, the one thing we all know, we're not going to be here forever. So and forever can be today, or forever can be 20 years from now. So I would say plan accordingly. Plan accordingly. If you want something for your loved ones to happen upon your death, set it up now. Don't wait. That's my simple information. And to everybody out there, you guys know what I'm gonna say. I want you guys to be up, out, and moving to the greatness we all know lies within who? You. Enjoy your days.